The screen in front of me is glowing red. A single word pulsates in the top left corner of the video player. Live. The channel's name is a meaningless jumble of letters and numbers. XG7B9T, but I know it better than my own. For the past 3 days, it has been my tormentor, my prophet, my executioner. It has shown me my immediate future in silent, static frames. But now it's showing me my present. The view count sits stubbornly at 1. The subscriber count is also 1. Me. It's live streaming from inside my apartment right now. To understand the cold, paralyzing dread that has seized my heart and turned my blood to ice, you have to go back 72 hours. You have to know how it all started with a single recommended video on a Tuesday night. It began, as so many things do now, in the blue-white glow of a computer screen in the dead of night. I've always been a creature of the late hours, a digital archaeologist sifting through the forgotten layers of the internet. My nights are spent in the quiet hum of my desktop PC, diving headfirst down the endless rabbit holes of video sharing sites. I'd watch video essays on obscure film history, tutorials for software I'd never use, and compilations of strange, unattributed clips from the internet's dawn. It was a comfortable sort of loneliness, a silent communion with the vast digital ghost that connects us all. My apartment was my sanctuary, a small one-bedroom place on the 4th floor of a nondescript building. It was unremarkable, which is exactly how I liked it. A worn-out couch, a coffee table littered with books, a small kitchen, and my command center. The desk where I spent most of my waking hours. The city outside was a distant, muffled roar, a world away from the curated reality on my monitor. That night, the algorithm was feeling particularly esoteric. It was feeding me stranger and stranger things. A 10-hour video of a slowly melting block of ice. A distorted, slowed-down commercial from the 1980s. And then, nestled among the usual oddities in the Up Next column, was something different. The thumbnail was a blurry, poorly lit photo of a beige wall. There was nothing else to it. No text, no face, no object of interest. Just a wall. The title wasn't a title at all, but a random string of characters like a forgotten password. VD48MOO. It had 0 views. The uploader was the same cryptic jumble as the channel I see now. It should have been instantly forgettable. A glitch. A test upload. A digital piece of trash floating in the infinite ocean of content. But I clicked on it. I don't know why. Maybe it was the sheer audacity of its nothingness. Maybe my brain, saturated with overproduced content, was drawn to the vacuum. The video loaded. There was no intro, no music. Just silence. The footage was exactly what the thumbnail promised. A static shot of a beige wall. It was grainy, as if filmed on a cheap webcam from a decade ago. The lighting was dim, coming from an off-screen source. I watched it for a full minute, waiting for something to happen. A jump scare. A strange noise. Anything. Nothing did. It was profoundly, unsettlingly boring. I scrubbed through the timeline. The video was 8 hours long. 8 hours of an empty, silent shot of a wall. I laughed, a dry, quiet sound in my silent apartment. It was the pinnacle of anti-content, a masterpiece of pointless data. I was about to close the tab, to forget this piece of digital flotsam forever. But my eyes caught something. A detail in the video. On the wall, just at the edge of the frame, was the corner of a picture frame, a simple black frame. My eyes darted from the screen to the wall of my own living room. There it was, the same black frame, holding a print I'd bought at a street fair years ago. My blood went cold. It was a coincidence. It had to be. Beige walls and black picture frames are hardly unique. I was just tired, my mind playing tricks on me in the small hours of the morning. I was projecting my own environment onto the meaningless footage. I tried to rationalize it, to shrink the knot of unease tightening in my stomach. But I couldn't shake it. I looked closer at the video, my face inches from the screen. The way the light fell, the specific texture of the paint, the faint shadow cast by the frame, it was identical. It wasn't a wall like mine. It was my wall. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I looked at the upload date. It was dated for tomorrow, Wednesday. That was impossible. A glitch in the system, surely. A server error. I checked the clock on my computer. It was 2:30 a.m. on Tuesday. The upload date was clearly, unambiguously, for a day that hadn't happened yet. My mind raced, trying to build a logical fortress around the fear. This was a prank. A very elaborate, very strange prank. Someone had gotten a picture of my living room, maybe from a social media post I'd made ages ago, and created this. The date was a simple hack, some metadata trick to make it seem weird. It was the only explanation that didn't involve the laws of physics breaking down in a low-resolution video. The explanation was thin, flimsy, but I clung to it like a life raft. I closed the tab, turned off my computer, and went to bed, telling myself that in the morning it would all seem like a weird dream. But as I lay in the dark, I couldn't shake the image of my own wall, being watched by a silent, unknown camera. Sleep did not come easily. When it finally did, it was a restless, shallow thing, plagued by dreams of empty rooms and the feeling of being watched. I woke up on Wednesday morning with a sense of groggy apprehension. The sun was streaming through my window. The city was humming its usual morning tune. Everything was normal. The memory of the video felt distant, absurd, the kind of strange thing you find on the internet late at night and question if you imagined it. For a few hours, I almost convinced myself that I had. I went through my morning routine on autopilot, the knot of anxiety slowly loosening its grip. This was the first moment of false calm. It was just a weird video, a prank, nothing more. By evening, the curiosity had festered into a compulsion. I tried to resist. I told myself not to look. Checking the channel would only feed the paranoia. It was like scratching an insect bite. You know it will only make it worse, but the urge is overwhelming. Around midnight, I gave in. My hands trembled slightly as I navigated to the site. I typed the nonsensical channel name into the search bar from memory. It appeared instantly, and there it was, a new upload. The thumbnail made the air catch in my throat. It was a dark, grainy image of a bed. My bed. A lump of blankets was visible, the shape of a person sleeping underneath. The video title was another string of gibberish. The upload date was for Thursday, for tomorrow. For a future that was, once again, already documented. My finger hovered over the play button, a profound sense of dread washing over me. A part of my brain screamed at me to stop, to shut the computer down, walk away, and never look back. But I couldn't. I had to know. I clicked. The video was just as silent and static as the first. The camera angle was from the corner of my bedroom, high up near the ceiling, looking down at my bed. And there I was. Or there I had been, sleeping. The video was 8 hours long. I scrubbed through it. The timestamp in the corner of the video player confirmed my deepest fears. The footage was from the previous night, from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. It was a silent, unblinking recording of me at my most vulnerable. Every toss, every turn, every moment of restless sleep captured and uploaded for an audience of one. The prank theory crumbled into dust. This wasn't a picture scraped from social media. This was surveillance. Someone had a camera in my bedroom. The feeling of violation was a physical thing, a cold slime that coated my skin. I stood up, my chair scraping harshly against the floor. I scanned the corners of my room, my eyes wide with panic, searching for a lens, a pinprick, a tiny black eye staring back at me. I found nothing. I checked the smoke detector, the air vents, every inch of my ceiling. Nothing. The calm I had manufactured that morning was gone, replaced by a frantic, buzzing paranoia. This was real. Someone was watching me, and they were showing me that they were watching me. But the part that truly terrified me, the part that felt like a violation of reality itself, was the date. How could they upload a video of my past, but date it for my future? It made no sense. It was a message. It wasn't just what they were showing me, but how. It was a display of power, a demonstration that they operated outside the normal rules. My sanctuary had become a cage, and I was the animal being observed. For the rest of the night, I didn't even think about sleeping. I sat on my couch, leaving every light in the apartment on, staring at the walls, at the ceiling, feeling a million phantom eyes on my skin. I was a prisoner in my own home. The next day, Thursday, was a blur of fear and action. The paranoia of the night had cooled into a steely, desperate resolve. I would not be a passive victim. I would fight back. I spent the entire day tearing my apartment apart. I wasn't just looking for cameras anymore. I was looking for anything out of place. I checked behind paintings, inside books, under furniture. I unplugged every electronic device that I didn't absolutely need. I bought a roll of thick, black electrical tape and covered the camera on my laptop, on my phone, even the tiny sensor on my TV. I swept for bugs with a cheap detector I bought online, its useless beeping giving me no comfort. Then I focused on physical security. I checked the single lock on my door. It seemed flimsy. I went to the hardware store and bought a heavy-duty deadbolt and a door jammer. I spent an hour installing them, my hands slick with sweat, my heart pounding with a mixture of terror and empowerment. With every turn of the screwdriver, I felt a small piece of control returning. I was reinforcing my walls. I was building a fortress. As evening fell, my apartment looked like the den of a madman. Wires were disconnected, furniture was askew, and my front door looked like it was prepared for a siege. But I felt a sliver of peace, a second wave of false calm. I had taken action. I had done everything a rational person could do. There were no cameras here. The door was secure. Whoever was doing this, whatever method they were using, I had disrupted it. I had to have. That feeling, that small bubble of hope, made what came next so much worse. I found myself thinking about telling someone, about going to the police. But what would I say? That a YouTube channel was uploading videos of me from the future? They'd think I was insane. I almost posted on a forum, a desperate plea for help thrown into the digital void. A warning to others. A part of me wishes I had. If you've ever felt that pit in your stomach, that creeping, certain feeling of being watched when you know you should be alone, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe knowing that there were others who felt it too would have been some small comfort in the suffocating silence. Midnight arrived, the witching hour, my hour of judgment. I sat at my desk, my newly taped laptop camera staring back at me like a blind eye. I navigated to the channel. My stomach plunged. A new video was there, uploaded. The title was the usual nonsense. The date was for Friday. Today. The thumbnail stole the breath from my lungs. It was a picture of me. I was on my knees, my face contorted in concentration, installing the new deadbolt on my front door. It was a picture of me from that afternoon trying to secure my home. The camera angle was impossible. It was from high up, near the ceiling in the hallway, a spot I had swept a dozen times. A spot where there was nothing but smooth, empty plaster. My hands felt like blocks of ice. The bubble of control, of hope, didn't just pop. It shattered into a million sharp pieces. All my efforts, all my frantic work had been for nothing. Not only had it not worked, but my futile struggle had become part of the show. The watcher hadn't just seen me. They had recorded me trying to hide. They were mocking me. They were showing me that my physical world, with its locks and its walls, meant nothing. I played the video. My hands were shaking so hard that I could barely control the mouse. The footage was silent, as always. It was a time lapse. It showed my entire day. It showed me searching my apartment, my movements frantic and pathetic. It showed me leaving and coming back with bags from the hardware store. It showed me installing the new lock, struggling with the screws. It showed me taping over my electronics. It showed me sitting on the couch trying to find comfort in my reinforced prison. It was all there. My entire day of desperate struggle, compressed into a 10-minute video documented from an impossible, unseen vantage point. The video ended with a static shot of me, sitting at my computer, exactly as I was now, preparing to watch the video I was currently watching. A snake eating its own tail. A loop of terror from which there was no escape. That's when the despair truly set in. This wasn't a person with a camera. A human prankster would have been caught by my search. A human couldn't be in a dozen places at once. A human couldn't exist in a place where there was no place to be. I was being haunted by something else. Something that didn't need a lens to see or a microphone to hear. Something that saw through the very walls of my home, through the walls of my reality. The upload date wasn't a glitch. It was a feature. It was a statement of its nature. It existed in my tomorrow, showing me my yesterday. I didn't move for hours. I just sat there staring at the screen, the reflection of my own horrified face looking back at me. Sleep was not an option. Food was not an option. The only thing that felt real was the screen and the silent, watching presence I could feel all around me. It was in the hum of the refrigerator. It was in the sigh of the wind against the window. It was in the very air I was breathing. The distinction between my apartment and the videos had dissolved. I was living inside the footage now. The sun rose on Friday morning, but it brought no warmth, no hope. It just illuminated the dust motes dancing in the air, each one a potential eye, a tiny spy in the service of my tormentor. I spent the day in a fugue state, catatonic at my desk. I didn't try to secure anything else. What was the point? You can't put a deadbolt on reality. You can't hide from something that sees your every move, your every thought before you even make it. My only purpose now was to wait, to bear witness, to see what it had in store for me next. As night fell again, I found myself refreshing the channel page, over and over, a nervous, obsessive tick. The clock on my screen ticked past midnight, 12:01, 12:02. The expected time for a new upload came and went. Nothing. The page remained the same, just the 3 previous videos, 3 chapters of my descent into madness. A flicker of something wild and unfamiliar sparked in my chest. Was it over? Had it grown bored of me? Had I won simply by surrendering? The thought was so intoxicating, so full of relief, that it felt like a physical release. Hope, a dangerous, fragile thing. I kept refreshing, just to be sure. For an hour, nothing changed. The silence from the channel was louder than any of the silent videos it had shown me. Maybe it was over. Maybe I could sleep. Maybe tomorrow I could start to put my life back together. And then the page changed. It wasn't a new video thumbnail appearing in the list. The entire layout of the channel shifted. The list of videos vanished, replaced by a single large video player that took up the entire screen. In the top left corner, a small red icon pulsed gently, like a malevolent heartbeat. Next to it was a word, 4 letters that ended everything. V. It wasn't a recording of my past dated for the future anymore. It was my present. The view count, which had always been 0 on the new uploads, ticked from 0 to 1. The subscriber count remained at 1. The watcher was no longer just an observer, a documentarian of my fear. It was active, present, and it was broadcasting. The footage in the player was a live feed from that same impossible high corner of my room. It was showing me right now sitting at my desk, my face illuminated by the glow of the screen, my expression one of pure, undiluted terror. It was showing me watching myself. The red light is on. The show is live, and I am the only one in the audience. I can't look away. I can't close the tab. Because for the first time, I have a question more terrifying than any of the videos it has shown me. The viewer count is 1. The subscriber count is 1. But if I am the one watching, then who is filming? I sit here, bathed in the light of my own recorded terror. And I wonder what happens when the stream ends, or if it ever will. Now the red light is on, and I can't look away. I don't know what this entity is or what it wants. But what if the person watching isn't the only one out there? What if the signal is going somewhere else? Join me next time for the story of the woman who bought a used phone, only to discover it was still receiving messages for the previous owner from beyond the grave.